Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being a part of the meeting of the Tennessee State University Board of Trustees meeting that is now called into order February 21st, 2019. First of all, I want to acknowledge the presence of the President's cabinet members who are here today. We appreciate all of you being here and all the faculty and staff who also join us, the deans of the various colleges who are represented today. Thank all of you for being here. We're very honored today to have our invocation being presented by one of the great leaders of our city, the pastor of the Friendship Baptist Church here in Nashville, Tennessee, Pastor Jimmy Greer.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for this time together. We ask your blessings upon the efforts that will be put forth here. We thank you for each member of the board and ask your blessings upon them and upon the leader of this board, Dr. Walker. We pray for Dr. Glover, the president of the university. Pray that you bless the student body, faculty, and staff of this institution. We ask now that our collaborative efforts together will make Tennessee State continue to be a beacon light in this community and around the world. We thank you again for allowing us to come together. We pray for a safe passage for all who are attending. We ask all of these blessings in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Greer. So there are many things for us to cover today in our board meeting, and we have several items on the agenda. And so the next item on our agenda is the roll call declaration for quorum. This time, Secretary Pillardon, won't you please call the roll?
Thank you, Chair Walker. Trustee Cole?
Present.
Trustee Kerbill?
Here.
Trustee Freeman?
Here.
Trustee Lewis? Trustee Martin?
Here.
Trustee McKenzie? Trustee Mitchell?
Here.
Trustee Seckman?
Here.
Trustee Walker?
Here.
Trustee Simpson?
Here.
Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you so much. First action item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of the November the 15th, 2018 board meeting. You have in your possession February 21st, 2019 board materials, the minutes for November 15th, 2018 board meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the November 15th, 2018 board meeting?
So moved.
Moved and seconded.
Second.
All right, thank you very much. Any discussion? Hearing none, for discussion, the questions on the motion to approve the minutes for the November 15, 2018 board meeting is contained in the board materials for February 21st, 2019 board meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposes? We must have a roll call vote.
Actually, until Trustee McKenzie calls in,
Yeah.
we won't have a meeting by phone
Very
until
well.
he comes in. So we could just do the normal voice.
Very well, thank you. Okay, all right. So ayes have it. Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is the Audit Committee report. The Chair recognizes the Audit Committee Chair, Trustee Cole, who will report the actions and other items from today's Audit Committee meeting. Trustee Cole.
The Audit Committee met today to take action on 2 items, receive reports on and discuss 2 other items, and voted to go into executive session to discuss items deemed confidential under state law. The Audit Committee voted to recommend to the full board the approval of the November 15, 2018 Audit Committee meeting minutes and the approval of the Internal Audit Office's revised charter. The committee also reviewed and discussed completed internal audit reports and the university's risk assessment process with President Glover and Internal Audit Director Davis. As I stated, the Audit Committee voted to recommend to the full board the approval of the minutes of the November 15, 2018 Audit Committee meeting as contained in the board material for February 21, 2019 board meeting. You have in your February 21, 2019 board materials the minutes of the November 15, 2018 Audit Committee meeting. On behalf of the Audit Committee, I move to approve the minutes of the November 15, 2018 Audit Committee meeting as contained in the board materials for February 21, 2019 board meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? On hearing none, the question is on the motion to approve the minutes for the November 15, 2018 Audit Committee meeting as contained in the board materials of February 21st board meeting. All of those in favor say aye.
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 Opposers? The motion is approved. Trustee Cole.
Chair Walker, that concludes the Audit Committee's report.
Thank you so much, Trustee Cole and other members of the Audit Committee for your service on the Audit Committee.
Did she move on, was it just the minutes or the charter?
We haven't moved on the charter yet. We were about to come to the charter now. Yeah.
Okay. As I stated, the Audit Committee voted to recommend to the full board the approval of the Office of Internal Audit's revised charter as contained in the board materials for the February 21, 2019 board meeting. You have the revised charter in your February 21, 2019 board materials. On behalf of the Audit Committee, I move to approve the Office of the Internal Audit's revised charter as contained in the board materials for the February 21, 2019 board meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, there's a question on the motion to approve the Office of Internal Audit revised charter as contained in the board materials, the February 21st, 2019 board meeting. I believe now Trustee has joined us. Trustee McKenzie, are you there?
I am here.
Very well. Let's have a roll call vote.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Trustee Cole?
Yes.
Trustee Krabil?
Yes.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes.
Trustee Lewis? Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell? Trustee
Here.
Seckman?
Yes.
Trustee Walker?
Yes. The motion is approved.
Chair Walker, this does conclude the Audit Committee meeting.
To that end, thank you once again, and to all the members of the Audit Committee for your service, and how wonderful is that? Thank you so much. The next item on our agenda is the Finance and Budget Committee report. The chair recognizes the Finance and Budget Chair, Trustee Corbell, who will report the actions and information items from today's Finance Budget Committee meeting. Trustee Corbell.
Thank you, Chairman Walker. The Finance and Budget Committee met today to discuss and vote on 4 action items. We voted to recommend to the full board approval of the November 15th, 2018 Budget and Finance Committee meeting minutes, as well as a meeting on February 4th of the meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee meeting that we had with the foundation. We also voted on to recommend to the full board approval of the student fee payment and enrollment policies, as well as a deferred payment policy. At today's, as I said, at today's meeting, we also had Dr. Glover, and I also reported on the foundation meeting that we had on February 4th, 2019. This was a meeting that was intended to start a dialogue between this board and as a newly found board, and as well as the foundation board. The intent, quite frankly, is to seek ways that we could work together to secure funding, additional fundraising for support of our students and our university. So it was a great first meeting. The Budget and Finance Committee will be the liaison between this full board and the foundation board as we go forward. So we did discuss that at some length. We also talked a little bit about, and we'll talk some more about the reports on the severance from TBR, but spent the bulk of our time discussing an update on the enrollment plan, recruitment plan, which is, of course, part and parcel to all the things that we're trying to do and accomplish as a university. So we spent pretty much the majority of the meeting talking about that. As I stated earlier, we voted to recommend to the full board approval of the minutes of November 15th, 2018. You have in your February 21st, 2019 board materials minutes for that meeting. On behalf of the Finance Committee and Budget Committee, I vote to approve the minutes from November 15th, 2018.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none. Questions on the motion to approve the minutes from the November 15, 2018 Finance and Budget Committee meetings contained in the board materials of February 21st, 2019. All those in favor? We must vote. Again, let's take a roll call vote. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, Chair Walker. Trustee Cole?
Yes.
Trustee Krabil?
Yes.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell?
Yes.
Trustee Seckman?
Yes.
Trustee Walker?
Yes. All right, the motion is approved. Trustee Corbell.
Great. The Finance and Budget Committee also voted to recommend to the full board approval of the minutes of the February 4th meeting, as I stated just earlier, that we had with the TSU Foundation. So you have in your February 21st, 2019 board materials minutes for those meetings. On behalf of the committee, I recommend approval of the minutes.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? This time we'll have another vote.
Trustee Cole?
Yes.
Trustee Kerbill?
Yes.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell?
Yes.
Trustee Seckman?
Yes.
Trustee Walker?
Yes. And the motion is approved. Thank you, Trustee
Great,
Corbell.
thank you. The last two items that we have for action for the board are approval. First one is the approval of the student fee payment and enrollment policy, and the second is approval of deferred payment policy. Both of these policies were already existing and we were abiding by the TBR guidelines and policies. We wanted to address and discuss the two policies that would become a little bit more favorable for our students here at TSU. So we are recommending as a committee, Budget and Finance Committee voted to recommend to the full board approval of the revised student fee payment and enrollment policies contained in your board materials. So on behalf of the board of the Budget Committee, I move to approve those revisions.
All right, is there a second? All right. This time we'll have the vote.
Trustee Cole?
Yes.
Trustee Kerbill?
Yes.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell?
Yes.
Trustee Seckman?
Yes.
Trustee Walker?
Yes. All right, the motion is approved. Trustee Corbell.
Great. Similarly, we also wanted to revise the deferred payment policy that, again, we are under the former TBR policy. And again, we believe this is more favorable to our students. So as noted, I would like to recommend and vote to recommend to the full board approval the revised deferred payment policy is contained in your board materials. So on behalf of the Budget and Finance Committee, I move to approve the deferred payment policy, deferred payment plan policy as revised.
Very good. Thank you so much. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Roll call vote.
Trustee Cole?
Yes.
Trustee Kerbill?
Yes.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell?
Yes.
Trustee Seckman?
Yes.
Trustee Walker?
Yes. All right, the motion is approved. Trustee Corbell.
Great. Chair Walker, that concludes my report.
Thank you so much. This time, the next item on our agenda is the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee report. The chair recognizes the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Chair, Trustee Martin, to report out the action items and other items from today's Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee meeting. Trustee Martin.
Thank you, Chair Walker. The Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee met today to consider and vote on one agenda item and receive information on 4 other items. The Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee voted to recommend to the full board the approval of the November 15, 2018 Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee meeting minutes. The Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee also received reports on SAC's 10 Years Reaffirmation Review, the College of Health and Sciences Nursing Program, and reports on Academic Affairs and Student Affairs General Matters. As I stated earlier, the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee voted to recommend to the full board the approval of the minutes of the November 15, 2018 Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee meeting as contained in board materials for the February 21st, 2019 board meeting. On behalf of the Academic Affairs Committee, I move to approve the minutes of the November 15, 2018 Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee meeting as contained in board materials for the February 21st, 2019 board meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, this time we'll have a vote.
Trustee Cole?
Yes.
Trustee Kerbill?
Yes.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell?
Yes.
Trustee Seckman?
Yes.
Trustee Walker?
Yes. And the motion is approved. Thank you, Trustee Martin, and all the other members of the Academic Affairs and Student Affairs Committee for your continued service to this very important committee. The next item on our agenda is the Executive Committee report. As the Chair of the Board and Chair of the Executive Committee, I'll report the actions and information for today's Executive Committee meeting. The Executive Committee meeting met today to discuss and vote on one specific committee agenda item. The committee voted to recommend to the full board to the approval of the November 15, 2018 Executive Committee meeting minutes. The Executive Committee also received a report on board and board committee officer terms, and the report from Secretary Pendleton. As I stated, the executive committee voted to recommend to the full board the approval of the minutes of the November 15, 2018 executive committee meeting as contained in the board materials for February 21st, 2019 board meeting. On behalf of the executive committee, I move to approve the minutes on November 15, 2018 executive committee meeting as contained in the board materials for February 21st, 2019 board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Let's have a roll call vote.
Trustee Cole?
Yes.
Trustee Kerbill?
Yes.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell?
Yes.
Trustee Seckman?
Yes.
Trustee Walker?
Yes. The motion is approved, and this concludes the executive committee report. The next item on our agenda is the president's report on campus safety. The material for this report items are included in your board materials for today's board meeting. The chair recognizes President Glover, who will provide information on or appoint her designee to report on this agenda item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to ask Chief Robinson if he will make this report for us.
Thank you, Dr. Glover. Good afternoon. As she stated, my name is Greg Robinson, and I'm currently the Chief of Police here at Tennessee State University. I assure you I won't hold you long, but I appreciate the opportunity to stand before you to talk about some of the successes we've had here on our campus as it refers to safety. Before we go to the PowerPoint, I first want to just thank the board members for allowing me to stand before you and explain some things and some positive things that have occurred here. I want to say thank you all for doing that. Dr. Glover, I truly want to thank you, truly, for just being your leadership and just being supportive of everything that we've been allowed to do here at TSUPD.
There's no more money.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, we've sat down and we've had a bunch of conversations about things that I wanted to do to provide a conducive environment for learning and safety. And Dr. Glover, I clearly said you've always said yes to a number of those things. And I stand before you telling you I'm probably going to be before you again asking for more. But I do that because I truly believe in serving. And it's about serving. It's not about me, but it's about we, and we're serving the TSU community. And I tell you, Dr. Glover, your support has been priceless to what we're trying to do. Dr. Johnson and the Chief of Staff, I want to thank you all for what we've done. You've added some cameras in areas that have really been beneficial in what we're trying to do. What we do and what we call it is a force multiplier. There are opportunities where the police department or the police officer may not be in a particular area, but our video analytics and our dispatch office has a video surveillance room. So we're oftentimes watching things on campus. So when we see something that doesn't look normal or suspicious, an officer may not be there or a security guard may not be there, by our dispatchers observing these screens and these cameras, they can call or dispatch an officer to go to the area and look and see what may be going on. So I thank y'all for that. Dr. Ford and Dean Stevenson, I'm not sure if he's here. I thank you all for allowing us, and meaning this university, to look into the Tiger Patrol program. That program has been absolutely tremendous in what we're trying to do. We've integrated that program. We've allowed our TSU students to interview for that, and they're interviewing for jobs. So we're doing things that are helping their professional development. They sit down, they interview with the police department. They work very closely with police officers and our security guards. And we put them in situations of leadership, so they're allowed to make decisions based upon them as being students, how they see it, that are going to be beneficial for other students on campus. So we thank them for that. That's been a tremendous help for us. Metro Police Department also is with us numerous nights a week, building relationships and partnering with us. Their visibility, with the cars, the uniform presence, and just the positiveness they've had with our students has really also been a deterrent on our campus. So that's been something that's really, really, really assisted us in being reductive in what the crime that we've eliminated. And lastly, before we go to the PowerPoint, I have to talk about the TSU PD staff. I can't thank them enough for coming to work with the mindset of service. You know, oftentimes they laugh and joke about me saying nickname is service, but that's what I believe in, that's what I stand in. And if we as individuals, especially from our law enforcement standpoint, make ourselves big enough that we're small enough that we can serve others, then we'll make this a successful and conducive environment. And we've done that, and we're going to continue to do that. We don't want to get complacent because we've had success. We don't want to stay stagnant because just like the IT world, the computer world, when you get to a point, if you got something, then it changes. So you have to upgrade and enhance. So we look to do those same things always. We've included perimeter patrols, and what we've done and what has helped with that is that it's an outside element where our officers, our patrol units, and our CSOs in marked units are patrolling the areas of the outskirts. So individuals see this. You know, what happens in criminal world, oftentimes criminals don't want to be caught. So when they see someone's in uniformed or authoritative positions, they look at another opportunity somewhere else. And all we want to do, and I say this all the time, we want to do everything we can to minimize our opportunities of criminalization here at TSU. And when we get to the PowerPoint, it's going to show some of those things that we've been able to do. We've also established what we call zones. What has been beneficial with that is officers come out to specific zones, so they become familiar with that zone or those zones. They look and they see things that they see on a normal day, one day shouldn't be there, or someone that shouldn't be there. Because of the continuity in those zones, they're able to get out quickly and engage after they become familiar with their zones. So because of that familiarity, we've been able to also to remove some elements from those particular zones. So that's been beneficial to us as well. So we appreciate that. So as we go to the first slide, I want to talk about what is deemed as what our major crimes here on our campus. Okay. Well,
Actually, they're board materials.
Okay, that's fine.
Refer to.
Yeah.
So what I'll just briefly speak about them. Here at Tennessee State University, we arrived here in 2016. After speaking with Dr. Glover, we had some concerns that we really wanted to address. I can clearly say if we look at the crime that's throughout the city, throughout the nation, here at Tennessee State, since last year, we've had a reduction in crime of 21%. Those numbers are absolutely huge in the aspect of what we're trying to do. And we look at some of the major crimes. We talk about some of the sexual offenses and the assault offenses. All those numbers have been reduced. And those are purposeful efforts that we've put forth, and we're going to continue to put forth. One of the things that have been beneficial is the relationships that we built. When we go to different areas around campus, because they feel better about our officers, people are engaging themselves. So when they may hear about something that may exist, they make us aware early on so we can be preventive in those particular things. And secondly, last, we have the overall crime. The overall crime since we've arrived in 2016 has been reduced by a total of 35.6%. You know, we look at those numbers and yeah, those are good. But again, we're at a place where we don't want to just stop and rest on our laurels, continue to be consistent. With the help of everyone and the TSU community and their involvement, I promise you we're going to continue to do everything we possibly can to make this the safest and the most conducive environment for learning here at Tennessee State University. Thank you all for allowing me to speak on the behalf of what has happened here at TSU. And with everyone's help, we'll be continually successful. Thank you.
Chief Robinson, thank you so much for the work that you do on this campus. It is very clear to us that significant progress is taking place, and of course those numbers declining in terms of incidents, and that is attributed to your leadership. And of course I certain the board, if anyone wants to echo or say anything concerning that, but we really appreciate the work you're doing and support you 100%. And I'm sure Dr. Glover as well. Pull her on. This time we're going to hear from our president, president's report now, and we recognize President Dr. Glenda Glover.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the President's report, and it is an honor and my pleasure to present it to you. We have just a few agenda items: enrollment and recruitment, facilities maintenance, accreditation, the Farm Bill, our congregate classification, and some legislative priorities. So we go over now enrollment and recruitment. Just as a matter of stats, enrollment for the fall was 7780. The enrollment for the spring is 6537, which is about 84% of our fall number. The numbers generally do decline in the second semester. We're working hard to make sure that there are no further declines. There are some factors affecting our enrollment. When I arrived here, there was a funding model for the state, for state-supported institutions called the Complete College Tennessee Act. And that is a performance-based model that's based on outcomes. It was no longer based on the number of students that we admitted or that we had in our population. It's based on the number of students who move through the system and who graduate. Given that as a mandate, we had to make sure we changed the way that we operated. We could no longer operate on just admitting students for the sake of admitting them. We had to admit a different type of students. So in line with that, we changed our admission standards to reflect a quality of student that we thought would have a better chance of moving through the system and graduating. They had a better opportunity to graduate. So again, there was not something that we started ourselves. It was given to us, and we operate within that system. The performance-based is based on outcomes. So then we had to increase our admission standards. The first year resulted in 900 more applications being denied, 900 more students being denied admission to TSU for not meeting our new standards. And then there's a free tuition for Tennessee students for community colleges. And then we had the main problem: students just did not have the funds to return to school. Those are factors that affect our enrollment. So we put together some initiatives. We developed this recruitment and enrollment strategic plan. Then we reorganized the division of graduate and professional studies. We implemented some new practices internally to improve our processes and our recruitment outcomes. And then some internet marketing strategies, so social media, content marketing, et cetera. So the undergraduate strategies we employed, the strategic outreach, the marketing and communications, internal improvements, and then increasing our funding. So in strategic outreach, we have 5 bullets. We're going to work, of course, about more high school students, and then focus on those populations in schools within 250-mile radius of TSU, and meet with the school superintendents, the high school counselors, have receptions for high achieving students. We're really going to focus in on dual enrollment courses and our certificate programs as ways to grow our enrollment. Then for continued strategic outreach, expanding our outreach to community colleges and transfer students with telephone campaigns to the potential transfer students, campus visits to various community colleges, increasing our number of 2+2 programs, and then the new dual admissions campaign that we're starting. We're going to expand the outreach to international students and to non-traditional student populations. And we're increasing our strategic marketing and social media campaigns, marketing and advertising, focus on new admission standards. We focus on quality, attracting quality as part of our new admission standards, focus on student success and student life and capital improvements, social media, e-recruiting, mobile applications, and online marketing. Under strategic communications, the telephone campaigns to students that have already been accepted, those who are transferred, the readmitted students, and also to incomplete applicants, just beefed up our efforts in that area. Then we're increasing our communication and follow-up with students via email and text and even direct mail. And then better student record keeping for our response rates and the actions and the follow-ups that's required, ensuring that students receive timely answers to any specific concerns they may have, and then personalizing communications with prospective students. Then some more internal improvements, the time involved to review transcripts, identifying new students who had enrolled previously but did not return to TSU, and better use of technology throughout the student application process. We're analyzing and utilizing the ACT and SAT data, and then increasing our campus-wide involvement in recruitment. And recruitment is everybody's business. And funding for scholarships, We're providing more scholarship dollars for students and developing a more aggressive plan and generating funds for our first-year students that help us in our recruiting, and increasing both our need-based scholarship and our merit-based funding, because many times you focus on merit and not so much need when you have students in both categories. And then increasing the private source of funds. So this is just a chart to show the GPA, how the change over from 2015. You can see from 2.8 to 2.83 to 2.8. And then to 3, we implemented new standards, 307, 3.07 to 3.1 for last fall. And we hope we're going to stay in that range. An ACT score from 18 even to 18.9 for the last fall. And just to let you know, the academics, student academics, we had 2,338 students on the dean's list for the last fall semester, and then we had 353 students who earned a 4.0 GPA for the fall. Now for Division of Graduate and Professional Studies, we're really focusing on that area. Division of Graduate and Professional Studies, we're looking at, my notes. Oh, we got it, all right. So we're looking at the grad study. We have it's the graduate school, graduate and professional studies. We have the graduate school, and then graduate professional studies. How we're going to hone in on that, so they can work with the companies, the Apples, the Amazons, the OER, the online graduate online program, and graduate certificates, and then the emerging innovation and technology. And Dr. Robbie Melton, who will oversee the HBCU. Another HBCU initiative associated with this, because of her current worldwide knowledge and experience in technology, we're bringing TSU in the 21st century with some of the things we're trying to do with the professional studies area. So we're really looking forward to the graduate school being a catalyst in increasing our enrollment. Then there was some more strategic marketing equipment for the graduate school that we have here. I think I won't go through all of that, but just to say that the graduate school is doing a lot of innovative and exciting things to recruit new students to the graduate school. And they made quite a few achievements. They put together the improving customer service and have put together a strategic plan just to make sure that we could have our graduate school achievements, because all of that helps us to recruit. Keep going. All right, now, so moving now to facilities maintenance and campus infrastructure, we've implemented some changes in the facilities management personnel. The work orders have been reduced to less than 200. They were, I forgot the number, was some astronomical number at first. We assess the buildings, that still has continued to make sure that the students are learning in a reasonable environment. And then the buildings have been deteriorating for the last 20, 25 years, so we still need, we're seeking funding for infrastructure. We're meeting at the Capitol to try to get increased funding to repair and maintain the buildings we have on campus, because many of our structures were just poorly constructed, and they still need immediate repairs. And last year we spent an additional $2.6 million just on building repairs and maintenance. So let's move to accreditation. The report is due this year in September, and our on-site visit will occur next March. And we have the revised standards under which information will occur, and all the committees are already working hard. They're going to submit their draft, I think, this morning in connection with the reaffirmation process. And Dr. Moses heading that process. Some of the accreditations within the departments have already been achieved, and these are the ones for last fall in business, and interdisciplinary cardiorespiratory care, psychology, and then in music. Those are the ones last fall. Then for this spring, we have nursing, physical therapy, public administration, and speech pathology. Now, the exciting news that we have is the Farm Bill. TSU, we believe, is faring well in the Farm Bill, what is really called the Agricultural Improvement Act of 2018, where they're established new centers of excellence. The bill is going to have $10 million per year to establish these research centers in at least 3 HBCUs. So we're working hard that TSU will be one of those 3 centers. Then there are millions in new scholarship funding. It has $40 million in mandatory funding for new scholarships for HBCUs, for 1890s, for the land-grant institutions. So that's going to work out to be a little over $2 million per year for TSU. And two more things we did is forcing the states to match the funding. I guess it really can't force the states to match the funding, but the bill is asking the states to match the federal funding for the land-grant institutions, because many HBCUs have not been receiving their match from the state. Only 61% of the schools receive the 100%. So this bill requires the states to report to Congress how much money, how much funding they're providing to the HBCUs in their states, as well as to predominant white institutions. I think the objective was to just see what are you doing to match those funds. And then the hemp research. This bill legalizes industrial hemp and make the hemp producers eligible for the federal crop insurance program. And TSU, along with Southern University, those are the two schools that are mentioned in the national media about how hemp is going to help in this regard. And move to the Carnegie classifications, Institutes of Higher Education. This is important to include here because this classification indicates the level in which universities engage in research activity. And there are three classifications of note. R1 is the highest level. That means you're the highest research. There are 130 universities in that category. R2 for doctoral universities means you have higher research. There are 135 in that category. And R3 means you have moderate research activity. TSU was R3, but we've now moved to the R2 category. The highest one in Tennessee institutions, UT Knoxville and Vanderbilt. R2, R1, UT and Vanderbilt. R2, that's where TSU is now. We have ETSU, TSU, Tennessee Tech, and University of Memphis. We're all in the R2 category. I just thought you'd see for R3 category: Belmont, Carson-Newman, Lincoln Memorial, Lipscomb, Middle Tennessee State, UT Chattanooga, and Union University. They're in the R3 category. So TSU moved up to R2, so that was very significant. And I just thought I would list the 10 HBCUs in R2 classification. So TSU has joined those. So finally, our legislative priorities. We had a day at the Capitol. We're asking for $18 million for land grant funding. We generally get about $6 million from Agriculture Department, and generally it would be another $6 million from the state. We're asking for 3 times that to help with some of the outreach and extension work that we're doing, which has been outstanding. And just as a matter of note, University of Tennessee receives a 6-to-1 match. We only ask for a 3-to-1 match. The McMinnville, because that is where we have our nursery, with a new Farmers Academy, we're asking for $5 million to enhance the McMinnville facility. And then we're asking also for $2 million in safety. We're asking for some funding for the campus infrastructure for $18 million. I mentioned earlier about how our buildings are aging, and some have aged ED, and so we need funding so students could learn in an adequate environment. And then for technology, to bring TSU into a better, reasonable technology system. So we asked for $6 million for that. And those are legislative priorities for this year that we're meeting with the legislature about. We're over at the Capitol. I think we've been over there 2 or 3 times almost each week since they've been up there, I believe. And that's the end of the President's report. And so thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Madam President. We really appreciate your report. Again, thank you for your vision, forward-thinking vision. At this time, the chair's report, and I'm going to just present 2 items before you. One, the President and myself had an opportunity on December the 19th, 2018, to appear before the sunset hearing with other LGIs, including TSU, and of course all of them before the Assembly Joint Governing Operations Subcommittee. The committee voted to recommend a 2-year extension for the TSU board as well as other LGI boards. And as the board chair, I'm incredibly excited about the future of TSU board and continuing to work to ensure TSU's future success. Secondly, through the Finance and Budget committee meetings, the board has been engaged in ongoing and very robust discussions with the president regarding the state of the university's budget. The president has assured the board that the institution will not be considering or pursuing layoffs of tenured track faculty in the immediate future as the institution addresses budget measures to ensure it's on a solid financial path and have solid financial health. So as a board, we all support the president's position with respect to the faculty, and will continue to closely monitor this situation regarding the budget situation and overall financial health of the university. Thank each of you so much for your time today, and if there's no other business before us, I will then take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It has been properly moved and seconded. We shall have a closing vote.
Thank you, Chair Walker. Trustee Cole?
Yes.
Trustee Corbill?
Yes.
Trustee Freeman?
Yes.
Trustee Martin?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell?
Yes.
Trustee Seckman?
Yes.
Trustee Walker?
Yes. Meeting is adjourned. Thank each of you so much for joining us today.